James, you talked about wanting to see what this team had when they got in the pads this week. What did they have for you?
I think it's been better. I thought Sunday was really good. I thought Tuesday was really good. Sometimes I know you guys hate to hear this, but I'd like to watch the tape first. But I thought overall Sunday and Tuesday were really good.
James, what have you seen from Michael Penix on film so far this season? Does he look like the same quarterback that you saw last year?
Yeah, obviously a really talented guy. Can flick the ball, can throw from non-traditional platforms, is extremely accurate, especially under duress. I'm talking about looking at his whole body of work. Obviously, he's athletic. He's made some plays with his feet as well. I think he's been a big part of their success, but I would also say it's not like it's a one-man show. They proved last year, even in the last couple of years, when he gets injured, they're still able to make it work. So hats off to them. Obviously, he's had some challenging situations and injuries as well, but I do believe, that those things have made him mentally and physically tough too.
James, Akeem Beeman was one of your D-Team Players of the Week last week. What did he do? How has he kind of embraced the role that he's dealing with now? And just because it's something I think we have to ask every now and then, do you foresee him contributing this season?
Yeah, I got no problem with you asking. I got no problem at all with you asking. No, he'll be unavailable. He'll be unavailable this week and this season. I think at practice, Hakeem loves football. So at practice, he's always good because he loves to play football. But he will be unavailable this week, and he will be unavailable for the season. So you guys don't have to keep asking me each week.
James, you have a really deep tight end group, and it seems like you trust Tyler Warren a lot. What more would you like to see from him in order to start maybe get some more snaps?
Is there something going on with the product, the amount of product that we're using in our hair right now? Is there something with you guys got going on? I see a lot more slick back. I'm jealous. I'll be honest with you. It's not like I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm jealous. I wish I could use product like that. But what was your question again?
You have a deep tight end. You've got a really deep tight end group, and Tyler Warren seems like a guy you guys are trusting in big situations.
Yeah.
What more would you like to see from him to potentially, get some more snaps?
Yeah, it's really not about Tyler. We want to rotate all three of those guys. Right now he's third on the depth chart of three really talented guys. There's not a situation that we would be uncomfortable putting Tyler in the game. I don't think there's a significant gap between the three of them. We think we can play all three of them and are comfortable doing it in any situation. Obviously, you got Brenton, who's played a lot of football. You got Theo, that has had a chance to play some football last year, and Tyler's getting his first game experience. But he's a poised guy. He's a confident guy. He's athletic. It's a strong room, and we're pleased with Khalil right now. Khalil's doing some good things for our future as well. So it's a strong room. We want to continue building on it.
Hey, James, Mike McFadden's a guy who's played a lot of football for Indiana. He had 12 tackles last week against Western Kentucky. What are you seeing from him on film and game planning?
Yeah, just a super talented guy, very productive, and not just in the traditional ways that linebackers are used. I think last year for the season he led him in sacks as well. Obviously, them losing him, I think it was against Cincinnati, on the targeting penalty was a significant loss for them in the game. He's the quarterback of their defense, and he's highly productive. So. Talented guy in the run game, talented guy in the pass game. I also think he's kind of an emotional kind of leader, kind of the heart and soul of the defense as well, and probably with the team, but very, very impressive young man.
I would say technically shaving cream is a product.
That's a fair point.
But
Fair point. And I go through a lot of it.
Yeah, but you talk about downs where everyone says you're going to run. So it's 3rd and 1. Why do you have to run on 3rd and 1? I mean, what is the rule or the statistic in football that says 3rd and 1 you have to run? I mean, could you play a whole season and just throw it? What
Yes.
is the theology behind that?
Yeah, it's having to me, balance isn't running 50% of the time. I've said this to you guys before, and passing 50% of the times. It's having the ability to run when you choose to and be effective at it. I think more times than not, you'd love to be able to run it on 3rd and 1. It's also a great opportunity if you're in plus territory that you know you're going to go for. It's a great down to take a shot. So no, there's no rule that says you have to run it on 3rd and 1. But it sure does make it nice when you have the ability to do it in the low red zone or in short yardage situations like it. But there's no rule. There's no rule whatsoever. But I want to have the ability to do it, and I want Mike to have the confidence when he calls it, it's going to be executed.
James, a couple of years ago we talked about the fact that early in the season it was rare for you to see a 3-down front or a 3-4 team. The first 4 teams you played based out of that. Has something changed in college football, or is there something that's changed with that is particular to help the defense in some way?
No, I think it really just depends on what defensive family you come from and what you believe in. It used to be something that was not very common. It's become more common. It's also obviously very popular in the NFL and has been for a number of years. But I would also say most of the people, kind of like our discussion that we had a few weeks ago about kind of the style of offense you play. It used to be kind of West Coast or spread or whatever it may be. It's the same thing with the 3-down people. Most of the 3-down people aren't just lining up in a true odd front all the time. They're getting in even spacing as well. So I do think there's a lot of flexibility that comes from a 3-down front, especially the way people are playing it nowadays. It can be difficult because it makes it very easy to bring 5, but it also can be very easy for them to get in a situation, drop 8, and have guys dropping that are used to playing the ball in space, compared to doing it from a 4-down front. So there's a lot of value in it. There really is. It's something that we always have to work on because just like I talk about our defense getting traditional old school pro style offensive looks, we got to make sure with a 4-down defense that we get enough odd work too.
James, you guys have made it pretty clear, obviously, that last week wasn't the practice week that you guys wanted at all. When you're still undefeated and you still win last week, how important is it to be able to take a message like that into a week like this when you still haven't lost the game?
Yeah, you got to address it. I think I've made the statement about being able to grow and deal with issues or challenges or areas of weakness even after a win, and be able to really emphasize it and be tough about it and be critical about it to try to get it fixed. The best teams are able to do that. They're able to grow significantly through wins, not just from a confidence standpoint, but from a correction standpoint as well. And we need to be able to do that. So we've been emphasizing that the last couple of weeks. I think we have taken some strides in some areas, and we're going to need to do it again.
James, earlier today we heard from Jesse and Sean about approaching you and the staff in the winter about ramping up the conditioning, making them feel more uncomfortable. That's their side of the story. I'm curious, do you recall that exchange during the offseason and them asking for more intensity?
No.
No.
I mean, it may have happened. I don't remember that. I remember talking to Nelly, our sports scientist, about changing our philosophy of running more going into camp. We used to take kind of the week off before camp starts, and it really makes no sense because now their system gets shocked dramatically when camp starts and you have an issue with soft tissue injuries and things like that. So I'm not saying that conversation didn't happen. I don't remember it. I remember me and Nelly having a bunch of discussions with Deej about the model and what we needed to do to be best prepared for the season, things that we look at every off season about tweaking. There's things that I met with Ben, Ben about, who handles all of our scripts, about some things in camp that I wanted to change, about our bonus week structure before the Wisconsin game. We started with a bonus Wednesday, and I really wanted to start with a bonus Tuesday because Tuesdays are more normal downs. Wednesdays is 3rd down and red zone, so it doesn't make sense to start your bonus week on a Wednesday, more of a Tuesday model. So just little things like that. We're always looking back and saying, hey, this is an area, that looking back at kind of an after action, review, like the military does, kind of through every stage, and make sure you're in a good spot and you're growing and making the subtle adjustments that need to be made.
James, you talked a little bit on Saturday about using the short passing game as an extension of the running game when teams are stacking the box against you. What are some of the keys to doing that well, and you feel like you guys have done that well so far?
Yeah, actually, I said that after the game, and somebody said, "Well, you didn't throw the receiver screens very much," and I actually think we did. I went back and watched tape again. I thought we threw it well, especially early on. But it's about obviously a high completion percentage. We've done this all the way back, to my time at Vanderbilt when we first got here. You got to complete it, and you should complete 100% of those. And then it allows you to be physical on the perimeter, especially with some of the things that we're doing formationally. You got a tight end block in a corner sometimes. It's a tremendous opportunity to be physical out there. Typically you're going to be, on a 2 on 1.5 or 3 on 2.5. And when I say that, a guy that's kind of split the box in the apex. But hopefully even if you get, more of a 2 on 2 look, that you can be so physical with the 1, whoever the guy who's the most dangerous to the play. And then hopefully athletically you have the ability to make the other guy miss. So that's a huge extension of the running game, but you got to be able to complete it, and you got to be able to get 4 to 5 yards, and every once in a while it turns into an explosive play.
James, offensive line-wise, I know I'm asking you another offensive line question, but, how important is it just for, these guys to get acclimated to a new running scheme? I know with Coach Yersich, totally different running scheme than the one that you all ran last year, but how long do you feel like it takes them to acclimate to that throughout the season?
Yeah, again, I don't know if I would describe it as totally different. We probably were a little bit more of the 12 personnel, inside zone, cram zone, however you want to describe it, duo. But we're still kind of doing those. Maybe a little less 12 personnel, a little bit more spread. But yeah, I don't really see that as being the issue. I think, we have to be a little bit more physical. I think we got to play with a little bit more of an edge. I think we got to play to the echo of the whistle. I think we got to make sure that our pad level and our hat placement is correct. And I mean that about our tight ends as well. And I also think our running backs, there's going to be some times where it's not a clean hole. And you got to be able to lower your shoulder and run somebody over and get a dirty 4 yards. And I think the more body blows that you throw like that through a game, the explosive plays will come. But we got to be willing to stick our foot in the ground and get downhill as a runner and run people over. And we got to be able to be physical and finish blocks and make sure that we're doing a great job with our double teams. I think what Wisconsin did early on, where they were running the linebackers so aggressively through, that obviously it's difficult to stay on the double teams long because they're coming down so fast. So there's a fine line in that, and I think obviously that has a kind of a hangover effect, But we want to do a great job with the down linemen, stay on the double teams as long as we possibly can, but not in a situation where we're going to allow free runners.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.